Welcome back to the Manifesting Love Masterclass. This is Module 3, and I'm so excited for today's module because we are going to start getting into your stories and your beliefs around love. The work that we've been doing so far has been around your self-concept and has been around your energetic state, your frequency. But now we need to really take an honest inventory of the thoughts that you have and the stories that you continue to tell based on these thoughts. Because here's the thing. If you start shifting your frequency and you start vibrating with a frequency of love, but you don't actually believe that you are worthy of a relationship, you don't believe that there's any good partners out there, if you believe that love is really hard to come by, if you believe that you can manifest someone but they're going to ghost you 2 weeks in, any of these beliefs, any other beliefs, we have to start looking at them and we have to clean them up. Because ultimately it's going to be, what is it? It's always your mindset and your frequency when you're manifesting. If you are new to my world, I call this the feedback loop. And this feedback loop gives off your energetic signature, and that's what the universe is responding to. So while you can absolutely call love in because you are in the frequency of love, you won't be able to actually hold on to it and stay in a healthy relationship, or this is going to cause what could have been a healthy relationship to be unhealthy based on your beliefs. And there's nothing worse than that. There's nothing worse than losing someone because you, in your mind, weren't right. And that's where so many of us are at. So get out your journal. I want you to honestly take an inventory of the thoughts that you've been noticing that have been coming up. What has your mind been saying while you've been doing this work? What has your mind been saying about you? What has your mind been saying about love? What has your mind been saying about partners? What has your mind been saying about romance? Where has your mind been going? Has your mind been moving on track and in alignment with you feeling in this vibration of love? Has your mind been really conducive to you doing the mirror work? Or have you been noticing that there's been a lot of resistance? Has your mind been that negative Nancy where when you're doing the mirror work, it's like, this is never gonna work. You're not beautiful. You don't love yourself. Did you notice that that voice is coming out? And I want you to ask yourself, where? When? What is that voice saying to you? In order for us to start cleaning up our beliefs, we have to become conscious of what they are. And a really good way to be conscious of them is to pay attention to where your mind goes throughout the day. When you're doing this work, when you're journaling, when you're doing the mirror work, when you are practicing feeling this feeling of love, is there a voice in your head that says this is never gonna work? Is there a voice in your head that's saying partners are so hard to come by? Is there a voice in your head that says you can't hold on to any relationship? Like, what is the conversation? What is the dialogue that is happening in your mind while you're thinking about love, while you're vibrating with love, while you're focusing on manifesting love? Like, where has your head been? Because we have to be really, really good at paying attention to these voices, not listening to them. We don't want to listen to them. We don't want to entertain them because these are not stories and beliefs that we want to tell anymore. But in order for us to notice where our head's at, we have to pay attention to what these narratives are that are playing out. So what I want you to do while you're doing this work for the next 21 days, I want you to start noticing the voice that comes up in your head, the stories that you're telling, the beliefs that are coming up. And I want you to start writing them down in your journal or typing them out in your journal. Wherever you are keeping this journal, I want you to keep it on you so that way throughout the day, you can notice the beliefs that are coming up. And here's the thing, you're going to start collecting a lot of information about yourself, about where you're actually at when it comes to love. You're going to keep doing the frequency work, but now we're going to integrate the mindset work in as well. So I want you to, for at least one day, write down every single limiting belief that comes up throughout your day. And also, when you get done with this module, I want you to just take a minute or a few minutes, and I want you to write down everything that you've noticed so far, every story that you tell, every belief that you tell, every narrative that's been playing out, any situation that you're starting to expect, how you're expecting this is going to go for you, all of it. Write it all out. And again, we aren't judging ourselves, but if we don't know where we're at, it's almost impossible for us to get where we want to be, right? We have to be the ones that are collecting this data because that's all it is. It's just data. Once you know what the program is, that's when we can work to reprogram it. If you don't pay attention to these things though, if you can't consciously call them out, you're gonna keep playing these stories and you're gonna get stuck in this vicious cycle because you're gonna be doing the frequency work to raise your vibration, but then as soon as you allow that negative thought or story to play out, it's gonna drop your vibration. And then it's gonna cancel out the frequency work that you're doing and you're gonna go back into your old way of being. And that is not the vibe. We are going to become consciously aware of these thoughts so that way we can install new thoughts and start telling new stories. It doesn't matter what happened in your past. Remember this, it doesn't matter what happened in your past. What matters is what you decide in this moment is now true for you. And what you're going to believe is now true for you based on the fact that anything is possible. Another thing that you're gonna want to look at, if it's something that you notice that keeps coming up, is if you're someone that has been in a lot of traumatic or toxic relationships in the past, then we really do need to look at them if they're still holding you hostage in a way. And the best way is honestly just to forgive. And in all honesty, it doesn't matter. It does not matter what happened. It doesn't matter how bad it was. I'm not even going to list out the terrible things that could have happened to you in your past, and they've all happened to me. I promise you, they have all happened to me. And I don't hold them hostage, or I don't hold on to them so they can hold me hostage anymore. And I don't need to speak about them because I've honestly done the work to clear them and transcend them. So what I want you to do is notice any relationships that are coming up. Are there any experiences or any people from your past relationships that you need to forgive? Because forgiveness is medicine for the soul. And forgiveness is honestly how you can actually raise your vibration. Because if you don't forgive and you keep ruminating, aka playing out that old experience in your mind, you're never going to move past it because your mind and your body doesn't know the difference between past, present, future. So if you keep playing it out, you keep reliving it in your mind and you keep experiencing the trauma in your body. So you need to be able to move through this. So what I would highly encourage you to do is create a forgiveness list. And I want you to write down every single person's name and any experience that you need to forgive. Make sure you put your name on your forgiveness list because you need to forgive yourself for being in those relationships, for any part you played in those relationships. And you need to just forgive yourself so that way you can move forward. List out all of these people, all of the things, and one by one, choose to forgive them. This is not for the other person. This is not justifying anything that has happened to you and anything that they've done. This is releasing you from that past experience so that way you can heal and move forward as a happy, whole person who can now be in a healthy relationship because they have released the toxicity they've been carrying around in their past. What I want you to do is go down one by one and choose to forgive them. A really powerful prayer that you can do is Hano Oko Ono. This is a Hawaiian prayer and it is 4 different phrases. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. I love you. what I want you to do is, if you're really feeling like there's an emotional trigger, I want you to say Hano'opo'ono. You can go to YouTube and you can find meditations that will say this over and over again, and you can play that in the background while you're going over this forgiveness list, so that way it will help you to release this energy. What you're going to do is, when you genuinely feel like you can release and forgive. Oh, one thing I want you to do is I want you to handwrite this list. Do not use your phone or your computer, because when you are done with this list, and when you genuinely feel like you have forgiven, do not rush yourself. I need you to genuinely feel like you have forgiveness. When you can genuinely feel like you have forgiven all of those past experiences, I want you to rip out that piece of paper, and I want you to say, I am now choosing to forgive everyone and every experience on this list. I am now sending love, and I am replacing any negative vibrations in my body with a feeling of love. And I want you to shred that piece of paper, because it is cathartic and it symbolizes that you are genuinely moving past this. Once you have done that, I want you to look at all of the limiting beliefs and all of the stories that you have written down. And I want you to honestly ask yourself, is this belief going to prevent me or allow me to be in a healthy, loving relationship with myself and with another person? For any of the beliefs or stories that it says that it is preventing, then those are and honestly, it's going to be mostly all of them. But I want you, so that you can understand this consciously, that when a belief comes up or when a story comes up, you're going to start noticing this and asking yourself this question so that you can shift in the moment. Any belief, any story that tells you that you can't have the love that you desire or the relationship that you desire is a belief that we are no longer wearing. We're no longer carrying it. We're no longer playing the story. We're no longer playing the role. We're no longer playing the victim. We are done. We are done with that belief. And what you're going to do is you are going to write the exact opposite. What is the best case scenario of that negative limiting belief? You're going to write that new belief in. Now, every single time that old belief or story comes up, you are going to stop and you are going to say, no, this is not the story I'm choosing to tell anymore. No, this is not a belief that I desire to hold on to anymore. And you are going to pattern interrupt, stop yourself, and pull your brain in the direction of the story and the belief that you now desire to have. You are going to do this every single time. This is how you rewire your mind. Every time an old belief comes up, you shift to the new belief. This work takes a lot of energy and effort at first, because your brain is designed to conserve energy. So the neural pathways are already created, and that's where it likes to go. This is going to take a lot of conscious effort, and it's going to take a lot of brain energy for you to do this. Understand that that is part of the process. Drink a lot of water while you're doing this. Allow your body to rest when it's needed, and give yourself grace, because you are a human that has been living however many years in this way up until now. So we can't expect that it's going to shift overnight, and it honestly won't. It takes 21 days for you to rewire your mind minimally to believe the same exact thought every single day. So don't be hard on yourself if you notice that this one belief keeps coming up. Every time you notice it, just go to the new belief. And don't allow any meaning to be assigned. Don't allow your story to get bigger if it's around that limiting belief. Notice where your energy's at. Notice where your mindset's at. And keep moving your energy and your mindset in the energy of, or in the direction of what you're desiring to have. And keep doing this. And I would totally recommend to keep your notebook, your phone, your journal, whatever it is where you are keeping these old limiting beliefs and these new beliefs. I would encourage you to keep this on you. So if you notice that the belief is coming up, you can refer back to the new belief. So that way you can remind yourself of these new beliefs. These new beliefs will act as new affirmations for you. So you can say them in the mirror. You can say them while you're getting ready. You can say them while you're driving. You can start telling yourself these new beliefs that you've written down when it isn't coming up. So that way you're starting to rewire your mind. But it's most important for you to move your brain in the right direction when that old belief comes up, because that's really where the rewiring work comes in. Just remember that you get to create any reality that you desire. Any reality where you are having your dream relationship, where you have your dream partner, you get to have that reality. It is not out of reach for you. You get to have it. So another practice that I encourage you to do is start scripting at night before you go to bed. And scripting is telling a story from the past tense. So it's already happened. So you're going to be journaling, and you're going to be in your journal scripting out the story of how amazing your relationship is. And it doesn't matter. You can talk about the day that you just had with your partner. You can talk about the amazing date you just went on. You can talk about how you just met them, whatever it is. But you're talking about the story as if it already happened. Think about it like a Dear Diary. And you are writing about what happened that day, but it's what you desire to happen. And allow yourself to really get into that vibe before you go to sleep, because that is actually going to play out in your subconscious mind while you're sleeping. That is why it is so imperative that you are very conscious about what the last thing you are doing before you go to sleep is and when you wake up, because your brain is in a theta state and it's highly suggestible and it's highly programmable when it's in that state. All right, that is the end of this module. Thank you so much for being here.